Hello viewers and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Today we are servicing a 2003 Seat Cordoba 1.2 petrol. Now this engine is used a lot in the Polos and in all the kind of Volkswagen, Skoda kind of range. Now it does have a slight problem. Well, I say slight problem, it can turn out to be a big problem. The timing belt, the timing chain, tends to stretch. So I'm always banging on about my service videos about you have to put the right oil in. And basically these do it, again, because they're just as simple as the wrong oil gets put in. It's just as simple as that. So it's vitally important you put it in. How do you know if your timing chain is stretched? It's hard to start, so what you'll find is if you start it and it'll just cut out again, start and cut out again, especially when it's cold, unless you put your foot on the throttle and then it'll carry on going. And you might find when you change into gear, when you accelerate it's kind of a bit jerky. That gives you an indication that there's maybe something slightly wrong. And it's normally, not all the time, but it's kind of normally to do with the timing chain. And they also have a problem with the pulleys. The top pulleys can move in these as well. So it's just something to be aware of. And if you leave it too long, you're going to need a new engine. Simple as that really. So we're going to do a full service on this today. First thing you need to do is make sure it's nice and hot, which we've just done. We're going to drain the oil and filter first. It's just easier when it's hot because all the crap comes out, and then we'll do everything else. So what I like to do is just take off, you can't see, bring it a bit closer, is take off the filler cap first. It just gives you an idea that, you know, if you just pop this off now next. Oh, that's hot. Now I just removed the cover, which inside here also you have your air filter. The reason why I've done that is so if your phone rings or anything happens and you forget you've got no oil in. I know it sounds stupid, but believe me, it can easily happen. You forget you haven't put oil in it and you took the oil out and you start it, you can cause problems. So I always like to take the filter, the top off, just so you know if you do look at it, you think, hold on, there's something maybe not right here. So let's get this up in the air and drain the oil. Now, it's a T40 torque that goes in here, but this has been damaged. Someone's damaged this, doesn't look great, so hopefully this isn't going to spin on me. I don't know, let's hope for the best anyway. Oh, we're okay. Now, you do have to be careful here at this stage because obviously the oil is going to be bloody hot. And the last thing you want it to do is go over everywhere. Let's see if I can do this without getting covered. Oh yeah, not a drop. Not a drop. Now you can see how black that oil is. This is out of a petrol car. So you can tell it's been in there for a while. And not only that, there should have been a lot more oil in that. So we must have been low on oil as well. Have to be careful with tightening this up. Should really get a new one of them. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that once I get the new oil in, just to make sure it's not leaking. Now we come to the top of the engine where the oil filter is. It's a 36mm big nut on the top of it. Now it's all plastic. The housing is alley, but the actual top of it's plastic, so you have to be careful. You can very easily crack it, and if you crack it you're in trouble, because the oil will go everywhere. Now, all the oil will be drained out of here because when I drain the oil from the sump, it all comes out here. Still going to be a little bit on the actual filter itself, but it's not. It's just like that. Well, sorry, it's just like that. So we need to now take the filter out of that and put the new one in. So all I'm going to let you do, this just pops out. I've just popped it out. It just comes out with your hand. Get it all the way out. It's a bit stiff. Double check with your new one just to make sure it's the same. And this one is. Now what I always say, like in all my videos, is especially with German cars, there tends to be a couple of different filters or a couple of different air filters, and it can get very tricky. So if you do it, once you've done it once, write down the number of the filter you need and have it in your car, so you'll always have it for the next time. Or alternatively, you can actually get both the filters. If you know them in the local motor factories, you can get both the filters from them and return one of them. But once you know which one it is, just write the number down so you'll always have it. Now there is an oil seal here, as you can see. It's kind of a green one on here, but I'm telling you, if it's not leaking, you don't need to do it. I know I'm going to get comments on it again, but I've seen it where people put the new ones on, and for some reason the new ones maybe just aren't as good and they leak. So I only change it if it needs to, if it's leaking. Now with this you have to be careful. It's written on it 25.5 Newton meters, so it's not very tight. You see some people really tighten these hard. You don't need to. They're just a nice nip, and that's it. You tighten that too much, it'll crack. You're not going anywhere. So we have the new filter in now, so what we need to do is put the oil in next. Like I always say, it's just so important, get the right oil. This is 530 Volkswagen / Skoda spec oil for this engine. They don't take a lot, it's around 3.5 litres if I remember. So I'm going to put 3 litres in first, start it, let the filter, the oil filter take up the oil, and dip it and see what more we need after that. So that's around 3 litres gone into that now. I'm going to start it. This might run a little bit rough because I've taken off the air filter here, and also there's a little breather pipe here, so don't worry about it if it looks a little rough. I'm going to wait for the oil light to go off, leave it running for another 10-15 seconds after that, and wait maybe 30 seconds to dip it. Let's see how we get on. Right, so let's see what we're looking at now. We're absolutely, oh, where are we? There's the camera. Absolutely spot on. So, that's good. What we're going to do next is the spark plugs. Now I'm going to do the plugs next. I'm just going to clip all these little clips up. Just releases the wire on the HT leads. Just clip them all up, get them out of the way. Now you have to be kind of careful with these because they are kind of down. The way I find it is just get a little screwdriver and just very gently just ease them up like that. Just nice and gently, take your time. And now you can, as you see, easy get them off. You can't really go wrong with these in the sense of you can't really mix them up. Some of the older cars with a big coil pack, you can mix them up. So if you want, you can very easily take these out and put them to the side, because they won't really go in any other place. We need a 16mm spark plug spanner now, or socket, to get these out. I have a 3/8 socket drive with a 16mm spark plug spanner on. I like to use a 3/8 because it's not too big and you can't really over tighten them. Well, you can, but it's a lot harder with the 3/8. So we're going to take the first one out. It's supposed to stick in there, but it doesn't. Take it out. Oh. And what we're looking for is kind of a biscuity colour, so we know we're burning right. That's not 100% right, but it's not far off. And what is vitally important is you check your plugs to make sure they're right, they're the same length. Not so much the same name, but the same length, the same number of probes and everything. So that's very, very important. These are correct. As you can see from the two of them, how much more of a gap there is, because obviously that little electrode has been burnt out. So we need to put that down. Careful how we do it as well. And what we need to do is by hand, very important, screw it down by hand first. You want to screw it down a good bit before you actually start to use the ratchet, so then you can't cross thread it. If you cross thread it, you're in trouble. And don't use the end of the ratchet. Don't use the end of the ratchet like that. I like to use the middle of the ratchet, so I'm not putting too much pressure on, just like that. So I'm just using that part of the ratchet and just nicely, a nice squeeze, sorted. I'm going to do that with all three of them now, or the other two. No point me showing it because it's all the same, and I'll turn it on once I've finished. So I'm going to fill the windscreen wiper washers now, put the additive in first. Just help with all the grease and stuff that comes off the road on your windscreen. Fill it up with water. Oh, we're more or less full, so we're okay with that. What I need to do next is check the antifreeze and check the brake fluid, then put the air filter back on. I'm just going to wobble that to make sure it's in there. It is. It's nice. It's not black or any horrible colour like that, so it's at the mark, so that's okay. This is a bit below the minimum. Let's see if there's enough antifreeze in it. So just put my gadget in again, see how many float. Minus 23, so I think we're safe enough with that. Just going to top the rest of it up with water, just to come to the mark. We're okay now. So it's just the air filter now, which is inside the engine cover. Now what I need to do is take off these screws. There's 5 Phillip head screws that hold down the filter inside the engine cover. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't come out all the way, they kind of stop so you don't lose them. And it's clipped at the back, so it should just literally lift up and unclip itself from the back. Turn it around, and to be fair, that looks pretty good, but we're still going to change it and just knock out the crap that's in there and get the new one. Simply replace it with the new one, make sure it's in, it's down, because if it's not, you'll struggle to get everything back. Just push it down, just like that. Turn it around, clip it in, make sure the clips are on at the back, and then settle it down. Lost. And screw it back. The only thing you have to remember is once you put this back, is this little vacuum pipe here has to go back on the engine, because it can run a bit rough if you don't. And there's another one that goes here, but I didn't disconnect that one from the engine, so it could be, it's at the side. So there's two little clips, or two little pipes you have to put on. The one here and one there. And again, they're both little vacuum pipes, and just make the engine run that a bit nicer. Now, so that's done. I'm going to turn this around. This is one of the pipes I was telling you about, which goes here, and the pipe that's hanging down goes on the top of the engine there. So it's best to lift it up, put it kind of in place, lift it up, push that down. This one you can kind of do when it's down, so that one goes in. Then it's just a case of finding the little clips, push it in, and there we go. So that is a full service on one of these things, and just can't stress enough the right oil, so important. So look, hope it helps. Thumbs up and subscribe, and don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one.